I'm here, Alkananda, also known as Olivia Hudis, as a voter, and Sadananda's here, Frank Reck, with the Interfaith Initiative for Human Rights in Syria. And I'm assuming that you are very familiar with what's currently going on in Idlib province. As the UN Special Envoy for Syria, Geir Pedersen, has just pointed out, that the fact that HTS is a fairly dominant force there at this point and is a recognized terrorist organization does not bestow the right to bomb civilians, hospitals, and displaced person camps. 2 days ago, a displaced person camp was bombed, and one of our friends was actually temporarily banned from Facebook just for showing what happened, because it was so gruesome. 2 women and 2 children were killed. Today, as we speak, the hospital at Jish al-Shagur has been bombed right after they announced a blood drive, and the whole hospital is out of service, and many children, and mainly children and women, have been killed. We've got over 550 civilians killed, including over 100 children. UNICEF has made a statement about it. More than, it must be at this point, 28 hospitals that have been deliberately targeted. So
Double strikes.
the double tap strikes to kill white helmets and ambulances and other types of ambulances as well. Phosphorus bombs. You can speak to.
Yeah. Phosphorus bombs and cluster bombs, which are internationally banned bombs.
This is being done by Russia and the regime. A lot of the airstrikes on hospitals, basically the airstrikes are mostly being done by Russia, with some barrel bombing by the regime, plus a lot of shelling by the regime. I think that the Iranian militias are not involved at this time, perhaps due to financial restrictions that the US has created upon Iran. So we do have some very specific requests. We really had a good connection with Jared Polis when he was occupying this seat, and he did join the Syria Caucus. That is our most important request to Joe Neguse, is that he join the Syria Caucus. We also want him to publicly condemn Assad. We haven't. Russia. We haven't. If he has done this, we have called numerous times to ask if this has happened, and nobody seemed to know that it has happened. But we really want him to publicly condemn these crimes against humanity and war crimes. Those and a tweet, because Twitter does have quite a bit of power. I'm a doctor. I'm a retired doctor, and my huge concern is that so many hospitals are being deliberately targeted in Syria, especially now in Idlib, but before in Ghouta, and before that in Aleppo. Hospitals and clinics were targeted. It's never been done this way before. The reason that Assisi was not bombed, the city of Assisi in Italy was not bombed in World War II during horrendous bombing by the Allies, is because it was declared a hospital city. That's what saved it. The neighboring Spello was bombed, as a resident told me last time we were there, by the US. If we are not going to say anything about these violations of international law in Syria, there isn't any more international law, and the whole world is a more dangerous place. You want to say anything more?
You said it pretty good. Yeah. So we're both really concerned about this, and just trying to do anything we can to help. And this is, he is our representative. So those are our requests.
And we voted for him, and we like him.
If you all can send me information about the Syria Caucus by email, I would be more than happy to put that in front of him and chat with him about joining that. And then you're more than welcome to include some information about how and in what ways you would like him to speak on these topics, sort of on social media and publicly, and I would be happy to chat with him about that as well.
Great.
We could try and arrange for him to speak about it. We've had some meetings with church leaders. We showed a film and gave a talk, and different church leaders came, rabbis and ministers, and maybe he could come to something like that if we can arrange it.
Sure, absolutely. Well, yeah, and if you keep me posted as those are happening, I can put you in touch with our district director as well as our immigration caseworker who will handle foreign affairs and things like that as well on the district side, and so I can loop you in with those folks as events come up and things like that.
Okay, so then we just keep in touch with you.
Sure.
So we want information about the Syria Caucus, and also exactly how we want him to speak out. Was that what you?
Sure.
Also, we had some
events. That
events.
he'll do that, but I'll speak with him about it.
And he could possibly come to some event that we
Yeah.
organize.
This is just one to obeyed.
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely, and that would just be barring his schedule and things like that. And so, but if you are having events, please do let us know, and I'm more than happy to put it to the district staff there and see if he can make it.
Great. So I just messaged my friend who is on the board of the Syrian American Council. They're the ones that are really working a lot in Washington. So I'm sure he'll send us the information about the Syria Caucus, and we'll pass that on to you.
Sounds great.
Yeah, and there was a congressman, I believe it was in Arkansas,
A Republican.
a Republican, who did speak out very strongly against what's been going on. So, if there's enough people who do speak out, something might get done. I know we have a terrible president, but
at least we have the House now.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to look at those requests, so I look forward to hearing from you over email.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you all so much
Yes.
for your time. Thank you for your
Okay.
advocacy. I look forward to working with you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.